Go Squad TV. All right, so this man's name has been a lot in my videos, and this will probably be the last video I do on him for a while. But I can't help this because I'm just scratching my head. Gordon Hayward, newly a Charlotte Hornet. All right, we're gonna just get down to the nitty gritty. It's Thanksgiving, um, obviously, and I really feel like we need to start telling the truth. Did Gordon Hayward really make players around him better, or are you guys just reading the stats? I feel like there's a lot of plus minuses people tend to read, and they're reading these things based on regular season games, based on the overall standpoint. We all know Gordon Hayward was a bona fide all star against scrub teams. Yes, I said it. Against the Orlandos, against the Cleveland Cavaliers, against those low level teams, Gordon Hayward was going to give you 30. Minnesota Timberwolves. But when we needed him to give us some big buckets and make teammates better in big games, he was really a no show. I'll give you an example. Game 2, Milwaukee playoff game, 2019. Now we were up. We were up double digits in that game. We lost by damn near double digits. But Gordon Hayward, mind you, this is the year that he came back from his injury, was not only being forced in the lineup, he was really the person who killed our run. We were up 15 on Milwaukee, and Gordon Hayward and Marcus Morris really, between those two, kept jacking up 3-point shots, kept jacking up jumpers, not playing any defense. I believe he only had like 4 points in that whole game. I'll take you even further. I'll take you into last year, this past season, the second Milwaukee game in Milwaukee. Gordon Hayward only managed to score 10 points in that game. We lost by 4. We were down damn near 25, 30 points. If Kemba Walker doesn't have 39 points in that game, we probably lose by 30. Gordon Hayward had a whopping 10 points in that game on 1 of 10 shooting, meaning his points really got from the free throw line. And really, that was really garbage time free throws. You got to be kidding me, y'all. He made teammates better. I can't fathom how many times I see the Laker game, the second Laker game. He had an open layup and bricked the layup when we were on a run to tie the game and possibly win that game. He was really a non-factor in that game. All right. I could keep naming games that I can remember where there were big games and he was nowhere to be found. Both the Houston games, he was really a non-existent. At the end of the day, man, let's really call spade a spade. What are we talking about? Gordon Hayward makes players better. Are we looking at regular season stats against teams that are garbage to try to basically make your argument better because you guys just like Gordon so much? I mean, we can say the same thing about Al Horford, but at least Al played defense. I was never the biggest Al Horford fan even before we signed him, but I'll give Al this. He was a multiple-time All-Star. He wasn't a contract player guy, and he usually bought it every game. For the exception of a few playoff games, his big nemesis is Tristan Thompson, which is funny. We got him now. Horford's not even in the East anymore, so it's not even like a big deal, but Tristan Thompson used to put a number on Horford because Horford had a hard time going against that physicality that Tristan used to be able to give him. He just really struggled all the time against Tristan. That said, I can still sit here and say that Horford made a much bigger contribution in his 3.5 years here versus Gordon's damn near almost 4 of being injured and then playing in games and playing like a superstar against Orlando, but coming up short against, the big teams, the better teams. Truth of the matter is, I get that Danny's he's under the gun right now. Players are leaving, and I'm not the biggest Danny Ainge fan, but we need to stop with this whole Gordon Hayward's going to set us back, and we're not going to be able to fill his 17.5 points per game average. Who's going to fill in and step in? When has Gordon Hayward ever really meant anything to us winning? I don't care what you say stats wise. We went to 2 Eastern Conference Finals literally without him. Literally without him. All right. The year that he actually played in playoff games without getting hurt, he was useless. Especially against Milwaukee, he was useless. Are we really gonna sit there and say that this man really made a difference? Like, how many of y'all in about 5 months ago even remember Gordon Hayward's contribution to the team? Those 3.5, 4 years. How many of y'all are gonna remember? I really challenge y'all to really. How many of you guys are gonna remember? What contributions is he gonna make? You're gonna remember him making, him scoring 35 and 36 points against the Timberwolves in one season. Okay, it's the Timberwolves. I don't get it. I don't get y'all. Some of you Celtics fans, to me, listen too much to the media and read stats too much. Stats do lie. Yes, stats do lie. Your eye will always tell you the truth. Now, stat can easily lie. Think about this. If you really want me to give you an example, Glenn Robinson averaged 24 points a game one season for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, he was always around 21, 22 for the majority of his career. Now, you got to remember, there was a different time, different game back then. But how much of his 24 points a game that year really, what was that really a contribution to them winning? They actually didn't start winning until Ray Allen started becoming the guy. Ray Allen became the guy in 2000, 2001, and they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Glenn Robinson was not the player he was in 1994, 95, 96, 97. He was more of an 18, 17 point per game guy. When there was less reliance on him, they won. Now, you can sit there and say Glenn Robinson was a great player, and I will never doubt the big dog. But let's really be real. Those stats are very deceiving. You know what I mean? Like, they don't count for real true impact. It's just face value stuff. Gordon Hayward will bring up all these stats. How many Eastern Conference Finals games did we win with Gordon Hayward? I'll wait. How many Eastern Conference Finals did we win? Games we win without Gordon Hayward? 5. So he legitimately, between that 2018 Conference Finals and 2020 Conference Finals, we were 5-2 without Gordon Hayward in the Conference Finals. With or without. So let me just make that clear. With or without Gordon Hayward in the Conference Finals, we're 5-2. That's 3 wins in Cleveland, against Cleveland, 2 wins against Miami. With or without Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward had no impact on that 2018 run. We went 7 games. The idea that we weren't going to beat Cleveland in that 7 game when we were up going into the fourth quarter, it's ridiculous. We only lost by 7 points or 8 points. And we lost only in garbage time because Marcus Morris had to go and foul LeBron when he was going for a layup. And that pretty much was just free throws after that. It wasn't even like he blew us out. LeBron had probably one of his poorest shooting nights despite them winning. They didn't win that conference finals like they blew us out or anything. The idea that you got guys like Drapes, you got guys like Forsberg saying that we weren't ready to win. We weren't going to be ready against Golden State, but we played Golden State very damn well during the regular seasons over the last few years. Probably the only team with a winning record against them. And after you're talking about prime Golden State, you're going to tell me that we wouldn't have at least made it competitive? Cleveland ain't make it competitive. They got swept. And they really didn't deserve to win that series had Brad Stevens actually decided to give the ball to Jason Tatum, who was the high hand in the fourth, after those first 2-3 possessions, and stop relying on passing the ball to Terry Rozier, who went 0 for 18. And Al Horford, who was really a no-show in that game. And unfortunately, JB, because I love JB, but he went 3 for 17 in that game. And he wasn't really well dealing with a hamstring injury. We win that game, and Jason Tatum gets the ball more towards the end. Brad did not trust Tatum because he was a rookie, even though Tatum was giving it to LeBron that day from the jump. At the end of the day, we decided to go away from the guy that was hot. The guy that dunked on LeBron, we went away from right after that dunk. We never got the ball back after that. So you can blame that loss on that. But Gordon Hayward meantime, Gordon Hayward really was never an impact player for the Celtics. He will be not very fondly remembered by real fans of the Celtics. He'll get remembered by a few of the White Hope Celtics fans that want Larry Bird to come walk into that door. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if we're going to talk like real Celtics fans, they ain't going to remember him. They'll remember David Wesley and Sherman Douglas with more of a high factor of smile before they remember Gordon Hayward. And that's fine. Listen, not a bad player. It just isn't. He was never meant to be in Boston. He was a contract year player. If I ever seen one, he was a contract year player guy. Before that one season he had in Utah, you understand he was really around 14 to 16 points per game. And he was getting torched by Kobe in the last game of his career when Kobe barely could even move. Are we really going to sit there and act like Gordon Hayward is really that impactful? He had one good year. Yeah, he had the injury. But if this is what you think is going to be a superstar, 17.5 points per game, barely playing in big moments, nah. Brittle Bones ain't going to do it. So, we'll see. Gold Squad TV. I'm back with more content in a few.